Hey guys, I'm Raquel. This is my channel Out of the Past where I talk about classic movies and books, and today I have a Criterion haul. I don't usually do these because I have the Criterion channel and I feel really spoiled by that, so I tend to kind of lean on that membership instead of purchasing Criterions. However, they had a recent sale with Barnes & Noble, 50% off, and I just started shopping and then one thing led to another and I had a haul. So I'm super excited to show you the collection of films that I got from Criterion, and I'd love to know if you purchased from that sale and what you got, so make sure you leave a comment down below and let me know. Okay, first up is La Piscine, which is from 1969, and it's an erotic drama directed by Jacques Deray. You see Alain Delon and Romy Schneider there on the cover. Maurice Ronet and Jane Birkin are also in the movie. This has been long unavailable. I've actually never seen it before. Rialto Pictures, I believe, did a 4K restoration, and it had a theatrical run earlier in the year, and then Criterion released it a few months ago on Blu-ray, and I believe DVD as well, and everyone was super excited. And I had written an article on Alain Delon several months ago for TCM, and I was just, doing a deep dive into, his life, and I thought this came at a really interesting point in his life. There was the huge scandal, the murder of his bodyguard, which he may or may not have been involved with, was happening at the time of making this movie, so that's really interesting. Also, he and Romy Schneider were actually romantic partners in real life, but not at the time of making this movie. So it's really kind of volatile time in his life. So I'm curious to see if that affects the film at all. This one has, it has the 4K digital restoration. It has a bunch of extras. I'm trying to hold it up at the same time as reading the back, and I don't think that's gonna work. So it has like a bunch of extras, short documentaries. There's an English language version of the film. Oh, okay. So La Piscine is basically French for the swimming pool or the pool. So there's a movie called The Swimming Pool, First Love Never Dies. So that's interesting. There's a documentary with interviews with Alain Delon, Jane Birkin, Jean-Claude Carrier, archival footage, an alternate ending. Wow, trailers, a updated English subtitle translation. Okay, I've actually never seen that listed on as an extra, but I live for translations and for subtitles. I even watch subtitles with English language films, and I speak Spanish and Portuguese, and I just still like to read the subtitles. So this is really interesting. I know my friend Kate Gabrielle loves this film, so she was also partly my inspiration for getting it. So I'm super excited for this one here. And then the next one is, if you've watched this channel recently, or you know me, you know that I've become obsessed with Luis Buñuel, and my absolute favorite film of his, of the ones that I've seen, I haven't seen everything, but I've seen a lot, is The Exterminating Angel. I just absolutely adore this film. This is from 1962. This is the Blu-ray edition. This film is like bonkers. It's basically a group of, very bougie friends who go to this couple's house for a dinner party, and then they all kind of retire into this one room, including one of the servants. And this takes place, I believe, in Mexico City. And so they're all in this room, in this mansion, and they cannot get out. They cannot get out for a very long time. They're starving to death. But the thing is, it's an open room. There's no closed doors. They can just walk through the pathway if they'd like, just into the other room, but they just can't bring themselves to do it. And it's just so bizarre. So there's lots of themes in his movies, including class disparity, or just observations of the bourgeoisie class, and how people have a desire to do something but can't fulfill it. He also criticizes the Catholic Church in one of the final scenes in the movie. So it's just a really interesting, bizarre film. You have to be okay with strange movies to like this story. And I love bizarre stuff. I really love it. I love surreal. I love movies that just confuse you, and like that after you watch them, days later, you're still thinking about it. You're like, what the heck happened in that movie? So that is The Exterminating Angel, which I believe is currently on the Criterion channel if you want to watch it, but I really wanted to own it because this is actually my first Luis Buñuel film that I own. So I'm super excited to get it. So this includes a documentary called The Last Script, Remembering Luis Buñuel, which I've seen. It's on the Criterion channel right now. It also includes interviews with the actress, the main actress in the film, Sylvia Pinal. I've seen those as well. Some other extras. And it's a restored high-definition digital transfer, which I'm sure is very fancy. It probably looks really good. So you could easily connect The Exterminating Angel with the next movie that I got, which is Women on the Verge of a Nervous Breakdown, directed by also one of my favorite filmmakers, Pedro Almodovar. I chose to write an article about classic movie references in Pedro Almodovar films for Turner Classic Movies, and it was like one of the most fun research projects I've ever had. I just did this really deep dive into Pedro Almodovar's work. I've seen almost everything. I haven't seen like a couple of his recent films like The Human Voice or the most recent Parallel Mothers, but those are on my list. But I've seen pretty much everything else. And you have to, if you're gonna watch Pedro Almodovar, you have to watch Women on the Verge of a Nervous Breakdown. Either let that be your first film or like one of the early ones, because the thing with Pedro Almodovar is he's very self-referential, so a lot of his movies refer to themselves. Like if you watch Broken Embraces, there's a film within a film, which is literally Women on the Verge of a Nervous Breakdown, like almost like a remake in it. So anyways, back to like Luis Buñuel, Pedro Almodovar was highly influenced by Luis Buñuel. So you kind of see in this movie characters who are trying to fulfill like some plan and they can't kind of do it. So basically, Carmen Maura stars, that's her on the cover here on the red phone, bright red phone. Carmen Maura stars as this voiceover actress who her and her boyfriend are recording the Spanish dubbing for a Joan Crawford, Sterling Hayden film, which I'm kind of forgetting the name of right now. So there's already a classic movie reference from the start. And he breaks up with her and leaves her. And the whole film is her trying to kind of deal with this. But then the other women in her life are also having these nervous breakdowns. And it's hilarious. Antonio Banderas is in it too. But it also has references to Rear Window with, there's like this really beautiful balcony that kind of looks out. So there's a lot of like spying on neighbors. There's this woman dancing and you can see her through a window. That's definitely a Rear Window reference. So there's a lot of fun classic movie references. And I just love this cover. It's so excellent. And I don't have a ton of Criterions, but this one and the next one I'll talk about are the first ones that I've seen with the director approved sticker on them. So I'm not really sure what that means, but maybe like Pedro Almodovar was like more involved in the maybe the collection of the extras or the restoration. This one's a 2K digital restoration. It has an alternative soundtrack. Oh, that's interesting. And then like some basic extras and a new English translation again. Oh, that's interesting. And so I have removed the plastic off of every single one of them except for the ones with these stickers. I will do that. I actually have this rule where I will not put a movie into my physical collection, which I actually have a video if you want to see the whole physical collection. I won't put it in there with the plastic on it because I feel like that's sort of like a failure on my part if I haven't removed the plastic. So basically when I get a movie, I will remove the plastic, put it into my database of films so I can keep track of what I have and not duplicate some purchases, which is a problem, has happened before. So I will remove this. What I might do is I might just cut out this sticker because it doesn't say anywhere else that this is, actually it does say it like right there, but I like the sticker. So what I might do is I might just cut out the sticker and then kind of stick it in the sleeve and kind of put it somewhere so that I can keep that. I don't know. And this next film is actually super important to me. This is The Virgin Suicides, directed by Sofia Coppola. It also has the director approved. It has their little signature, which I think is really nice. This kind of why I want to keep the sticker. See, Pedro Almodovar there. So I have a history with this movie. When I was a teenager, I was a teenager when this came out in 1999. I was working at a Barnes & Noble and I came across Jeffrey Eugenides' novel, The Virgin Suicides, and it was the movie tie-in edition. So it had this image of like Kirsten Dunst, and she was kind of laying down maybe in some grass. Like I have the cover upstairs. I should have grabbed it for this video, but I was very struck by the cover, so I grabbed it and I read the back really quickly, and it said the Lisbon sisters. And I thought, okay, I'm half Portuguese. I've been to Lisbon numerous times. I'm like, oh, does this take place in Lisbon? So I didn't even like look at it that closely, and I was just like, okay, gotta purchase this one. So used my employee discount, got the book, read it, and was completely enraptured, and then was confused at first. I'm like, this doesn't take place in Lisbon. Anyway, it's about these 5 sisters who all over the course of the story commit suicide. That is not a spoiler. Literally, it says The Virgin Suicides. The story really is from the perspective of the neighborhood boys who are curious about these girls who are like super repressed. They have these parents who are religious and have a stronghold on them, and they feel like they can't escape. So hence like the mental health issues and what's going on. And I was at a time too in my life where I was feeling kind of the repression of religion on my life. I'm no longer religious, but at the time that was something that I was struggling with. So I kind of gravitated to the story. So I read the book before the movie came out. So the movie tie-in came out maybe a couple months before the movie. And then I went to go see the movie because I was like, I had to see how they're going to adapt this book, which is told from the perspective of the boys who like only get to go into the actual house with the sisters like later on in the story. How are they going to do that? And Sofia Coppola just found a way to capture the novel's kind of quiet eeriness and its sort of like strange perspective into the movie. And it's just so fantastic. I went to go see it at this theater, which no longer exists. It was built in the 50s. It was the last film I ever saw there. And I think they tore down the theater like a year or two later. So I don't know, just between the, like, it reminds me of my bookstore days, it reminds me of my teenage years. I fell in love with the novel so much. I love the movie so much. There's so much love. I still have the book, but I never got the movie. So I was like, yeah, this is automatic. Gotta get this. I believe this movie is actually on the Criterion channel right now as part of a series about women, I think. I forget the actual name of the theme of it, but definitely watch it if you haven't had a chance, and definitely get the book too. The book is absolutely amazing. Okay, last in my Criterion haul is this set right here, which was the bulk of the expense. Is quite expensive, but 50% off is a great deal. So this is Dietrich and von Sternberg in Hollywood. And there is the set right there. Each movie there's 6 different movies, and I'm holding it the wrong way. There's 6 different movies, and they all have their own sleeve, and then there's a booklet as well. Just show the sides of it too, and the back. I have only seen one of these movies, and I'm not terribly familiar with Marlene Dietrich and Joseph von Sternberg's collaboration. So I'm like, okay, educational opportunity, time to like fill in a gap in my classic film history knowledge. I love doing that. So this one has a booklet here, and I believe it has essays by Imogen Sarah Smith. Yep. And then we have each of the individual movies. The Devil is a Woman. These are really nice. The Scarlet Empress here. Let's quickly open each. The Blonde Venus. Shanghai Express, which is the only one of these I've actually seen. Dishonored. And Morocco. Oh gosh, this iconic look. So I'm super excited. I haven't been avoiding these. I just never got to them. Like these are films that I've always wanted to see. And I know there was a theme on the Criterion channel with these, and I don't think it's there anymore. So it's good that I own the set. And I haven't purchased like a good classic film box set in a long time. So it felt really good to collect something that would be something really fun to own in my collection. I have like a good number of classic film box sets, but they don't really make them anymore. When I first started my blog back in 2007, these were like being made all over the place. We would all wait until like very late December into January and go shop on Amazon, where you could get them for like 50 to 75% off. We'd scoop them all up, and now they're just not made as much anymore. So if you can find a good classic film set of movies, definitely take advantage of it. Okay, I promised you an extra, and here's the extra. 2 new Blu-rays from the Warner Archive collection, which I recently acquired. This is Fury from 1936, starring Sylvia Sidney right there, and Sidney, Sidney. Sylvia Sidney and Spencer Tracy. This is directed by Fritz Lang, who is also one of my favorite film directors, along with Pedro Almodovar and Luis Buñuel. I have a lot of favorites. He was the first director I really did a deep dive on. I've seen every single one of his films except for a couple of the Lost Silence and the last epic he made in Europe, the Tiger of Eshnapur epic, which I own but I haven't seen yet. I'm holding out for some weird reason. Anyways, I love this movie. It basically, Spencer Tracy is accused of a crime he didn't commit, ends up in jail, and he gets really upset because the mob in the community, they develop this mob mentality, and they basically want to kill him, and he escapes out of prison and has to deal with the fact that everyone thinks he died in this prison fire, but he really didn't. So it deals with a lot of kind of heavy topics. I think it's really well done. I think it's an underrated classic, and it's got a great cast, like Bruce Cabot's in it, you got Walter Brennan, and then this is one of the very early films that Fritz Lang made in the United States after having fled during World War II and made its way over to Hollywood. Sylvia Sidney made several films with him, and she was very important in helping him kind of build up his Hollywood career. I have an article about this actually at the Library of Congress, which I'll link down below if you want to read more about kind of the importance of this film. It's actually part of their registry of their national registry of important films. So I have a long history with owning this movie on DVD, losing the DVD, losing the DVD, getting another DVD. So I'm excited to see what this looks like on Blu-ray. So definitely going to review that one soon. And then the next one is Ladies They Talk About, which stars Barbara Stanwyck. I have this on DVD in the Forbidden Hollywood set that contains this and has this on the cover. But I've actually never seen the movie, which is kind of an embarrassment. It's a women in prison pre-code, and I'm really curious about women in prison films as a subgenre. You get that a lot from like in the pre-code era, and then into the 50s, and then especially into like the 70s with women in prison films as kind of like sexploitation films. So there's a really long history about that subgenre, and this fits into that, and I would really like to learn more about it. So with special features, I should have looked at that. They don't really have much. The Warner Archive Collection ones don't really have much, but because they're such rare films, I still think they're super valuable. This one has commentary by Peter Bogdanovich, and he had interviewed Fritz Lang extensively, so includes audio excerpts of that interview. So that's really cool. And this one just includes a vintage cartoon and a trailer, but it's Blu-ray and it's got Barbara Stanwyck, so pretty good. So I hope you liked my haul and the extra. Let me know, do you have any of these Criterion movies? If you partook in the recent sale, what did you get? I would love to know. Thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.